This one simple mindset shift could completely transform the way you look at selling, which will ultimately completely transform the way you sell, which will ultimately, you see where this is going? You're going to be able to sell more. Welcome to the Affiliate Guy podcast. If you want to grow your income, serve your tribe, and enjoy all the benefits of affiliate marketing and having your own affiliates, you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me today. Let's get started. So in the last episode, I talked about this experience we had at Blackberry Farm, getting to spend some time with their general manager. And we sat around this beautiful setup. Like, we're sitting there in these rocking chairs, drinking the world's best coffee. I don't know what you do, Blackberry Farm, but your coffee is amazing. And the sun was out. It was like perfect weather around the fire pit next to a pond. I mean, like, I just cannot express like how amazing this experience was. It was really hard to focus on the discussion. And Brian Lee, the general manager, said something that I'm going to come back to in a minute. But what he said sparked this amazing conversation. And this conversation kept coming up throughout the week. And I think it was Jeff Walker who brought it up on the last day when Brian actually came to our table to wish us wish us farewell, to bid us farewell. And again, I'm going to tell you what it is in a second, but it forever changed the way I look at selling, even though it wasn't about selling. Because here's what he said. He said, serving is a privilege. Serving is a privilege. I'm going to share what that means to me in a second. But there's a quote from right before we left for Blackberry Farm from Mark Tim. Mark Tim is a former client, a dear friend, business partners with Kevin Harrington, the original shark from Shark Tank, a mentor or a mentee of Zig Ziglar, the legendary sales trainer. And Mark said, to sell is to serve. And Phil Card, one of our students, Phil, if you're listening, big shout out to you, was the one who actually pointed that out to me, because when in the Facebook group for their recent promotion, they asked, what was your big takeaway? And Phil highlighted that. Phil highlighted that Mark had said to sell is to serve. So there's a line of delineation here. Or, it's like if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C, right? Forget what that's called, the transitive principle or something in math. So here goes. If to sell is to serve, and to serve is a privilege, then to sell is a privilege. It's a privilege to introduce people to a product perhaps of my own that I believe will change their lives. It's a privilege to introduce them to someone else's product, this is affiliate marketing, that I believe could help them. So selling is not dirty, it's not slimy, it's not sleazy, it's not smarmy, and it's not even something that has to be work or make you feel weird. It's a privilege to sell. Because to sell is to serve. And it's so true. And to serve is a privilege. And so when I think of privileges, when I think the example I gave to Jeff, when he asked, what does that mean? What does it mean that, it's not like he doesn't know the answer. He just says, what do you guys think it means to serve as a privilege? And the example that just popped in my mind, because when I thought of it, it was 2 days before the 14th anniversary of my dad's death. And so last week, so appropriate that I'm at the place I was at and where, the location I was at and in the state that I grew up in, and not focused on other things. Like, I was able to kind of bask in the memories of my father. So my dad was on my mind a lot last week, of course, as I was thinking, just thinking about him a lot. This is that time of year. Anytime it's right around the NCAA tournament, when the NCAA tournament starts, I really start thinking about my dad a lot because that's when he passed away. And I think of my dad when I think of serving being a privilege, because I picture him. I can still see him to this day. My dad was one of the best in the world at starting golf courses and being a general manager of a golf course and all the business stuff of a golf course. And he left that to go become a golf instructor, to get back to his roots and just teach people how to play golf, to teach people how to play the game that he loves. He made a lot less money doing it because he wasn't one that was trying to, run like the big golf schools or anything like that. He just wanted to teach people how to play golf. And he vastly undercharged for his services. That's one thing he and I disagreed on. And anyway, I have this vision of my dad. People are practicing if you know golf, you know what a driving range is, and they're on the driving range and they're practicing. And my dad would walk from one end to the other, and he would go past people and he would help them for 5 minutes. And I think about it in terms of, that's content. Think about that in terms of an online business. That's your content. It's free help that addresses an immediate or pressing need that gives them a little bit of hope. It makes them a little bit better right now. You should be able to take my free content. You should be able to take this podcast and turn it into something meaningful. You should be able to take this and it should impact your business in a positive way. Not as much as our paid content, our courses, our masterminds, our consulting, of course, because we have a limited amount of time. But that was content marketing, essentially. He would give them a tip, spend 3, 4, 5 minutes with them. And then he'd move on to the next person. And he would help them. And then if somebody wanted to dig a little bit deeper, he would help them just a little bit more. Maybe he'd spend an extra minute or two with them. I was like, well, that's kind of like pre-launch content. If we think about Jeff, and I look at Jeff because it's like the launch model, I'm like, he's digging a little bit deeper because they've made some sort of a commitment by asking a question, kind of like opting in, giving your email address. And then the next step, of course, is that they would sign up for lessons. That was his paid product. And my dad never even owned a computer, never owned a cell phone, not even like a smartphone. He never owned a cell phone. And yet my dad was running like PLF in 2002, in 2000, offline on a driving range. And I said to the group that that's when I saw my dad at his peak, at his most joyful. I never saw my dad happier than he was walking on that tee, helping people on the driving range. Just doing his thing. Because to him, serving was a privilege. And selling, he sold by serving. He sold by serving. And for him to sell lessons that helped people with this thing was serving them. And so to him, selling was a privilege. It was a privilege for him to go on that tee and do that work, which was marketing, essentially. It was a privilege for him. It was a privilege for him to sign them up for lessons so he could dig deeper, because he can't spend 10 hours with one person for free. There has to be a financial transaction. So somebody would, pay him $1,000. And then he got to take them deeper and got to teach them more. It was always a privilege to him. And I love that picture. I wish that you could have seen it, because just to have that memory in my mind is something I will cherish for the rest of my life. So this concept, I would just, it's a mental shift for you. To serve, or to sell is to serve, and to serve is a privilege, so to sell is a privilege. If you look at it that way, not as something that's drudgery, not as something that you suck at or you have to do, and you just say, you know what, no, I want to serve. And this is a privilege for me to be able to sell. And you treat it that way, it'll change the way you sell forever, regardless of what product it is. So make that shift. Let that sink in. Find a picture of your own. Who do you know that looked at service as a privilege, that looked at selling as service, that looked at selling as a privilege? Who do you know? What's an example of that in your life? Think about that. Really hone in on that. And in the meantime, go to mattmcwilliams.com if you haven't already. Make sure you sign up for our email list because we want to serve you, which occasionally means we're going to sell you stuff, or at least try to. But no, seriously, go to mattmcwilliams.com. We've got tons of opportunities there to join our community and check those out. Check all those out. Make sure you sign up. We've got a free report for you if you're looking for affiliates. We got a free report there. It's just on the right side, or you can go to mattmcwilliams.com /first100 /first100 and get our free report that'll show you how to get your first 100 affiliates. You can opt in and get our best training, our best free training on how to rock your next affiliate promotion. It's right there and big. You can't miss it at mattmcwilliams.com. And come see us on Facebook Live. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. Go like our page. It's mattmcwilliams.com /Facebook. And then mattmcwilliams.com. A lot of URLs. We'll have them all in the show notes. mattmcwilliams.com /FB chat. You can get all of our you can get updates on when we go live on Facebook. So go get all of that stuff. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening today. Remember to check out all of our deep dives into affiliate marketing at theaffiliateguy.tv. And if you have a question, you can ask it at asktheaffiliateguy.com. Who knows? Might end up being featured on this podcast.